I would love to ask you, like, talent, senior level talent in e-commerce, like, it doesn't grow on trees. And so does the average enterprise brand, let's assume their technology is transforming, do they have the people to stay ahead of the technology? And what's your view on that?
I think there's a lot of talent certainly in the street, and I think a lot of talent cross-functionally. I think the challenge a lot of brands have more so than service providers is, do they have digital acumen? Are they
Right.
embracing innovation and things like that? Because to go to a place as a practitioner, regardless of what your functional role is, if that's not interesting and that's not innovative, and you don't feel like you leave your fingers on something or innovate or scale, why would you want to go there or stay there? So I think a lot of times, we would advise organizations as part of that transformation. Human capital is a massive aspect of it, and this isn't just acquiring the right people; it's retaining the right people and training and enabling the right people and making this part of your fabric, your DNA, your culture. Like, this is all about innovation and experimentation, and that's what people want to be, I think, closest to. So those brands and organizations that kind of represent that culturally and lean into that, I think, have an easier time finding and keeping talent. And you could say the same thing for services providers. Those that won't. I think the talent's there. I think the focus is shifting a little bit, and I think the easiest centralized theme across all of this is speed. It's agility. Like, everything's got to be, it's fast,
Super
man.
fast.
It's how do we super fast. If you can't go fast, you're dead going forward. And I think most agencies have adapted. I think a lot of brands, some more than others, they at least realize they need to get there. The cost and the disruption and everything else like that to get there is obviously the hardest part.
Well, and I also think depending on the size of the brand or the retailer, it's the alignment on the how, because that's also where there can be friction too. Just disagreement or misalignment on the path versus the fact that everybody agrees it needs to move fast, but can't agree on the how and the way to get there. I had a question for you, Travis, as we get to agencies and we think about these platforms. Are you finding that agencies have to become more and more specialized in particular platforms, and therefore they almost become the sales force and the sales team of that respective platform, versus where you need to have a couple of different portfolios and skill sets within your team?
I mean, listen, this is a complicated answer and I'm not trying to be weird about it. I mean, the easy answer is I've seen agencies go all in monogamously, tether themselves to a platform and have a tremendous amount of success. I mean, let's just name specific ones. Look at Rich Lyons at Demandware, right? And he was a Magento shop. I mean, he started kind of Magento. I don't want to speak for Rich, but really pivoted heavy to Demandware, and they had an amazing run and amazing valuation and exit and things like that. But primarily, I don't know what his percentage of revenue was outside of Demandware. But had an amazing run. So there's a great example. You've had other agencies like the Acuity Group, who sold to Accenture, ironically, back in 2012, 2013.
It seems to be a pattern for you.
Well, I wasn't at Acuity. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Acuity Group, but I mean, they leaned heavy in Adobe and certainly Hybris at the time. And you could argue they ran a lot of tool selection. They were agnostic. I think you've got to be deliberate in your approach. If you're going to be agnostic as an agency and not cozy up to a partner platform, right? You've got to be able to generate your own leads and drive value independent of the platform work, which means, to your point, Rick, you've got to have a really strong, robust digital marketing arm, performance marketing arm. You got to be able to lean in with the ability to do design and UX work or things like that. You should have it.